In the next moment, red light representing chaos, evil, and disorder intertwined within the hall, twisting and changing constantly. A series of figures appeared in the grand hall. Leading them was a woman dressed in a long white gown, with fair, tender skin that gave a fragile impression. However, her stunning face bore a blood-red moon-shaped mark, and her long silver hair was casually draped around her waist. Her cold, beautiful face carried an aura of otherworldly detachment. "We bow to the Lord of Stars," her clear, ethereal voice rang out. Suyi looked at the soldiers kneeling before him with a hint of surprise. "Everyone, stand up." Looking at the new soldiers he had recruited, aside from the hero at the front, each was clad in blood-red armor, with a blood-colored crescent moon mark on their foreheads. This was completely different from what Suyi had imagined. In his view, although the Star Sanctuary belonged to the Chaos faction, the soldiers it recruited shouldn't look like this. They exuded evil, chaos, and ominous energy. This aura came from the hero leading them. Of course, the Chaos faction was capable of recruiting such beings, but it felt strange for the Star Sanctuary to do so. Suyi understood that the Chaos faction also had three main branches: Neutral Chaos, Evil Chaos, and Order Chaos. The Order and Chaos factions each had their own sub-branches. Is it Evil Chaos? Suyi looked at his recruited soldiers. This was the first time he had recruited truly evil chaos beings, those filled with chaos, evil, and ominous energy. Suyi calmed his mind and examined the attributes of his newly recruited soldiers. Name: Daylimi's Loyalty, 100 rank, Divine Unit. End Red Moon, Daylimi's Talent. End Red Moon Skill, Moonfall Artifact. End Moonstaff Potential, Creation, Crystal Palace Bonus, Unlimited Influence by Attributes. P.S. The End Moon, Daylimi's, represents one of the beings that signifies the end of all things. Mastering the End Red Moon, she is the source of chaos, evil, and ominous energy, one of the beings that devours all life. End Moon, Daylimi's. Suyi took a deep breath as he looked at her. If his territory had an evil ranking, Daylimi's would definitely be at the top. Even Lilith and Ista are no match for Dalmas, especially when compared to Lilith and Ista, who are naturally chaotic types. Lilith and Ista still have some of their own dark humor or human warmth, but with Dalmas, I only feel endless evil, chaos, and bad omens. This is a very pure feeling. I looked at the other recruited units and checked their stats. Name: Enmoon's Calm Loyalty, 100 rank, God-level unit type. Enmoon's Calm Talent, Red Moon Skill, Red Moon Ceremony Artifact. Enmoon Sword Potential, Main God, Crystal Palace Bonus, unlimited by item effects. P.S. Belongs to the ultimate Red Moon, Dalmas's exclusive army, wielding the power of the Red Moon, born for slaughter and plunder. Looking at the notes, I realized that a true army of evil has been born in my territory. I used to think that the evil army I recruited would come from the fallen Holy Hall, but now I see I was wrong. I didn't expect my first evil army to come from a chaotic camp's camp. It's a bit strange, but it also seems reasonable. When recruiting, I can't control what kind of soldiers I get. I don't even know what units will be recruited in the end. Dalmas, Lilith, Ista, Talus, Pangelia, Kesha, and Alades are all my companions in the territory. I hope you can get along well, I said seriously to Dalmas. Because of Dalmas's special traits and notes, I spoke very earnestly. Lord of the Stars, your will is everything I seek, Dalmas replied solemnly. Yes? I nodded, then looked at Lilith and the others. I found that except for Pangelia, who seemed indifferent, the others looked at Dalmas with some caution. Clearly, the ominous aura she radiates makes them wary. I didn't have much choice. Changing their views isn't something I can do with just words. It takes time and long-term interaction. Suyi also clearly understands how terrifying a species like Daer Misai is. If they weren't 100% loyal and consistent, Suyi wouldn't dare to use them. After all, this kind of soldier can be called truly inherently evil. They are born for destruction, embodying the end of all things, bringing chaos, evil, and misfortune. Let's go. First, we'll hold a banquet to welcome our new friends, Suyi said with a smile, leading the way out of the starry sacred hall. Lilith and the others followed closely behind. Daer Misai, along with her exclusive army, the solemn moon, also left the starry sacred hall. Suyi looked at the soldiers in his territory. There are 6 types: fallen angels, holy angels, dragons, forbidden gene soldiers, valkyries, and star gods. The territory is a bit small, but that's not a big problem. It can be upgraded anytime. Lilith, Talus, you two go to the Feast of Wine and Meat to arrange the banquet. I'll come later. Dayer Misai and Aelides, get to know the other companions in the territory. When the banquet starts, just come over, Suyi instructed. Yes, Lilith and Talus nodded, then headed to the Feast of Wine and Meat to get wine and meat. Dayer Misai and Aelides began to follow Ista, Kesha, and Pangelia to meet the other companions in the territory. It's not necessary to meet everyone, but at least avoid accidentally harming anyone. Suyi then opened the territory panel and started upgrading. System, upgrade the territory, Suyi said as he opened the territory panel. Ding! Consume 300 wood, 300 stone, and 30 source crystals to upgrade the territory? Upgrade, Suyi said firmly. A white light enveloped his territory, which began to expand visibly, growing stronger and larger. Each lord's territory is circular, with an initial diameter of 1,000 meters. So every time Suyi's territory upgrades, he can see it expanding. Ding! Your territory is now level 4. You can check its specific attributes. System, continue upgrading. Upgrade, Suyi said quietly. Ding! Consume 400 wood, 400 stone, and 40 source crystals to upgrade the territory? Upgrade! A white light rose again, and Suyi's territory expanded once more. Upgrade! Upgrade! Suyi quickly raised his territory to level 7 before stopping. Seeing that his territory's diameter had grown to 1,600 meters, Suyi was satisfied and opened his territory panel. Name: Supreme Heaven Level, 7 Area, Diameter 1,600 meters Buildings. Advanced Stone House Lord's Residence Landmarks. Innate Spirit Source Lake. High. Chaos Spring. Unique. Wine Pool and Meat Forest. Treasure. Hero Spirit Hall. Unique. Tower of Eternity. Unique. Dimensional Gate. Unique. Barracks. Fallen Angel Sanctuary. God. Supreme Agreement. God. Origin Dragon Nest. God. Sacred Hall. God. Valkyrie Temple. God. Star Temple. God. Storage. Wood X 7900, Stone X 7900. Upgrades. Wood X 700, Stone X 700, Origin Crystals X 70. Reaching level 7 for the territory, Suyi spent a total of 180 Origin Crystals and 1,800 units of wood and stone. For Suyi, this was an easy task. He casually opened the territory leaderboard. The top territory was already at level 15, and the 10th was at level 12. Forget it. I can't compare with these people. Suyi looked at his territory size. For now, it was enough. Upgrading the territory wasn't very important to him. A smaller territory meant less trouble facing the Void Trial. With a smaller area to defend, he didn't need a huge territory. As long as it didn't feel crowded, it was fine. Starting tomorrow, I will upgrade my territory once a day. Suyi set a small goal for himself. Raising the territory level every day is enough. Suyi didn't need his territory to be very large, just enough and not crowded. He could only recruit a limited number of units each day. Unless he used special recruitment cards, he couldn't really make full use of a bigger territory. At least for now, Suyi's requirements for his territory were very low. If it weren't for the dragon units, Suyi wouldn't have upgraded so quickly to expand his territory. A dark shadow fell from the sky and landed in front of Suyi, its black-purple wings disappearing instantly. Lord God Emperor, the banquet is ready, Lilith said with a smile as she looked at Suyi. Let's go, Suyi replied with a smile, speaking to Lilith. They headed straight to the feast, where drinks and food of black iron and bronze levels were already laid out. The soldiers from Suyi's territory had gathered here, waiting for his arrival. The feast begins. Welcome our new companion. Suyi raised his glass and said with a smile. Yeah. Cheers erupted, and the party officially started. Suyi sat on the sofa, watching the fallen angels dance and sing, enjoying fine wine and delicious food. This is life, Suyi sighed happily, as a piece of meat was fed directly to him. He opened his mouth and tasted it. As time passed, the party gradually turned into a big celebration, and Suyi became the center of everyone's attention. Not used to it, Lilith appeared in front of Odysseus. The newly recruited Valkyrie still looked a bit uncomfortable with the chaotic scene, sitting at the edge of the party. Odysseus took a deep breath and said, "It's a bit hard to get used to, but since your majesty the god king is willing to do this, I will try." Lilith looked at Odysseus with a smile and said, "No need to worry. The god emperor won't blame you for this. Just be yourself." Odysseus looked at Lilith with a flicker of light in her eyes. She found her to be much easier to get along with than she had expected. She never thought she would drink and eat with beings from the chaotic camp one day. "Compared to you, that one is truly lonely," Lilith said, her eyes looking toward a cold, solitary figure in the distance. Damis. She was one of the heroes recruited today, just like Odysseus. Compared to Odysseus, Damis was more of an outsider, perhaps because of her personality or her own nature. This was inevitable. Damis's personality was just like that, and so was her power. As time went on, the banquet had ended, and Suyi was already tipsy. With Lily's help, he took a few sips of the chaos spring water before feeling better. His mind cleared of the fog. "Thank you, Lily," Suyi said with a relaxed tone. "It's what I should do for the Lord of the Gods." "But, Lord, what do you think about her?" Lily asked, looking toward the lonely figure not far away. Several hours had passed since the banquet started. Dailemes had been standing by the spirit source lake the whole time. Suyi glanced at Dailemes, then nodded at Lily. "I'll go see her." Lily smiled and nodded back. Suyi walked toward Dailemes. When she heard someone approaching, she turned her head and saw Suyi walking over. She instinctively bent down to salute him. "Don't," Suyi stopped her. A hint of confusion appeared in Dailemes's lonely eyes. "Don't you like lively places, Dailemes?" Suyi asked curiously. "No, Lord, I just don't know how to get along with them," Dailemes whispered. "Is that so?" Suyi looked at her, then smiled and took her hand. "If you don't know, then try. We're all companions in this territory, so you should make some contact. If it doesn't work, you can find Lily or Keisha and the others," Suyi said, sitting down on the grass with her. Hearing this, Dailemes looked surprised. "Really? Why not? You're all my people. There's nothing wrong with it," Suyi replied naturally. "All right, Lord. I understand." Dailemes nodded, indicating she would try. "Good. I'll lie down now. Call me if you need anything," Suyi said, resting his head on Dailemes's full thigh. Dailemes carefully protected Suyi, watching as he slowly fell asleep. As time passed, night fell. Suyi looked up at the darkening sky. "How long has it been, Dailemes?" 8 o'clock at night, Lord," Dailemes answered. Suyi shook his head and sat on the grass. Indeed, after drinking, it's best to sleep to feel comfortable. After moving his body slightly, Suyi looked at the others, who were all busy with their own activities. A model appeared in Suyi's hand. The Divine Object Summoning Hall. A top-tier secret treasure. Suyi hadn't had time to check it before, but now he had a moment, so he began to examine it. Name: Divine Object Summoning Hall Level. Unique Attribute: Summoning Secret Treasure Summon. January 1st. Daily. Cost: None note. This is a top-tier secret treasure. It can be used once daily for free to summon legendary artifacts, secret treasures, rare items, blueprints, and other valuable objects. Is this free? Suyi stroked his chin while looking at the model in his hand, which resembled a palace. He placed it next to the Chaos Spring. A large bronze-colored hall appeared in Suyi's territory. The hall was about 100 square meters, roughly the size of an ordinary house. "Let's go, Dailemes. Come with me to check it out," Suyi said to Dailemes beside him. The bronze hall carried an ancient feel. Suyi and Dailemes entered the palace. Inside was an ancient altar. "Ding. Do you want to perform the daily summon?" The system prompt sounded. Suyi raised an eyebrow. "Summon," he said, looking at the altar, curious about what he might summon. A crimson glow appeared above the altar, filled with a bloody aura that spread out. A blood-colored pillar of light reached the ceiling of the hall. A crimson longsword materialized on the altar, exuding a bloody atmosphere. The sword's blade looked like crystal, with a blood-red gem at the hilt. Blood-red veins covered the sword, making it look alive. "Ding! You obtained the magic sword. Bloody slaughter. Magic sword. Bloody slaughter." Suyi looked at the sword on the altar. The crimson blade shimmered like crystal, and a blood-colored gem was embedded in the hilt. Blood-red veins ran along the sword, making it seem as if it were a living creature. Suyi stared at the magic sword and grabbed it with his hand. A wild, destructive will surged into his soul, killing, destruction. In the next moment, Daelmis quickly grabbed Suye's arm, and the intense, crazy will gradually subsided. Suyi looked at his magic sword with some helplessness. With the help of Daelmis's power, he began to examine it. Name: Magic Sword. Bloody Slaughter Level. Divine Artifact Feature 1. Self-Repair, can heal by absorbing blood. Feature 2. Plunder, can steal enemy life force when killing. Feature 3. Bloody Evolution. Blood can make the sword evolve. P.S. This was a weapon of an evil god from 5,000 years ago, containing the divine power of that god. But you must resist its crazy will. It disappeared 5,000 years ago and is now here. I am very curious about this. An evil god's weapon from 5,000 years ago, with that god's divine power. Suyi looked at Daelmis's hand. If it weren't for Daelmis, he might have gone crazy by now. Thinking of this, Suyi couldn't help but slap himself. He was too careless. Life has been smooth lately, and he forgot that as a lord, he must be cautious. He directly stored the magic sword into his divine king's treasury. The treasury can not only copy weapons, but also store them. As the sword disappeared, the bloody, crazy aura also faded away. Suyi looked at Daelmis. When he was invaded by the crazy will just now, Daelmis held his hand and pushed back that will. This shows that Daelmis's rank is very high. So high that even at the black iron level, she can easily suppress the divine power of an evil god. Rank and strength are not related. They are innate qualities. Whether it's Daelmis or Lilith and other hero units, their ranks are extremely high. These qualities are innate, not developed. They are like newborn babies, still very young. His own power has not been fully developed yet. He needs to level up. Let's go, Daelmis. Suyi took Daelmis and left the bronze hall. Night fell. Suyi and Daelmis had a simple meal, then headed straight to the Star Sanctuary, where they would sleep tonight. Time slowly passed. A whole night went by, and it was now the 7th day of the beginner period. System notification. Today is the 7th day for new lords. The authority, Dimensional Rift, unsealing. Each day, lords have one chance to choose whether to enter the Dimensional Rift. The rift is random and cannot be accumulated for multiple entries. Suyi, feeling drowsy, opened his eyes. His gaze was clear but a bit naive, like a college student feeling confused. He sat up uncertainly, then fell back into Daelmis's embrace. He found a warm, soft spot to rest and drifted back to sleep. But the next moment, Suyi opened his eyes again and checked the system log. Dimensional Rift. Suyi finally remembered what this was after reading the log. It is one of the powers of a lord. The Dimensional Rift is a power that every lord can control. It is also one of the main ways for a lord to develop their territory. There is only one chance each day to open a rift. However, the level of the rift depends on the level of the lord's heart. In other words, if your lord's heart is at the iron level, the rift you open will also be at the iron level. This is also an important method for a lord to invade other dimensions. As mentioned before, a lord's true nature is to conquer other worlds to achieve their own goals. Every lord is like this. This is the power of a lord. One chance each day to open a rift. But remember, opening a rift is relative. Lords can invade other dimensions, and creatures from those dimensions can also invade the lord's territory. It's mutual. It's not just that the lord invades and the other side can't fight back. This is why ordinary lords find it hard to grow after the beginner period. To get resources, they must fight, plunder, and invade. However, there's a problem. The Dimensional Rift isn't like a void trial. Its difficulty can be chosen and controlled. But the rift is different. Although the worlds you can open are at the same level as your lord's heart, you are only a lord facing a dimension world. Even the lowest level dimension world is as big as Earth. So, will you be invading the dimension world, or will the dimension world invade you? A dimension world at the lowest level, iron grade, has creatures with a maximum level of bronze inside. This continues up to platinum grade worlds. This level of the world has no upper limit, and there are even some gods existing here. The reason why it is hard for ordinary lords to rise is because of this. The biggest benefit of the beginner period is the once-a-day void invasion. After the beginner period, it disappears. To get resources, you have to trade or plunder, which means fighting for them. The risks are very high. Especially in high-level worlds, there are many native gods and demigods. Their attitudes toward lords are often quite hostile or even very hostile. After all, you are an invader. They wouldn't welcome you. Dimensional Rift, Suyi stretched lazily, then walked out of the starry sacred hall. System, open the combat power gift pack, Suyi said as he headed toward the Chaos Spring. Ding, you have received 10,000 gold coins. Ding, you have received 1,000 source crystals. All right, better than nothing. Suyi looked at what he got from the daily combat power gift pack. He didn't pay much attention and washed himself in the Chaos Spring. After fully restoring his health and spirit, Suyi began his daily recruitment. Fallen Angel 30, Genetic Forbidden Army 30, Dragon 30, Holy Angel 30, Valkyrie 30, Star God 30. He didn't manage to recruit any hero units. Sure enough, it's not the first time that recruiting hero units is too difficult. Suyi looked at today's recruitment results. He wasn't disappointed because all his troops are divine-level units, so there's no reason to be upset. Then, Suyi took Lilith and headed to the Divine Item Summoning Hall. This place is a bit sinister, and Suyi wasn't sure what he might summon today. It's better to have someone with him. Ding. Do you want to perform the daily summon? Summon, Suyi said in a deep voice while looking at the altar. A brilliant light rose from the altar. Golden light directly poured into the dome of the summoning hall. Suyi looked at the golden pillar of light in front of him, curiosity in his eyes. As the light faded, a set of golden armor appeared before Suyi, and the system prompt sounded. Ding! You have obtained the armor of the Immortal King. The armor of the Immortal King? Suyi looked at the golden armor in front of him, immediately checking it without daring to touch it with his hands. Name: Armor of the Immortal King level, Semi-Artifact Feature 1. Immortal Barrier, creates a shield that can resist attacks from demigods. Feature 2. Protector of the Immortal King, can block a fatal attack once, with a cooldown of 30 days. Feature 3. Enhancement, can strengthen the user's body based on their level. Ineffective against divine-level beings. P.S. There was once a powerful immortal dynasty. Their king was an immortal ruler, but it ended during a divine war. This marked the complete loss of the Immortal King's armor, and the dynasty eventually disintegrated and vanished. Not bad. Isn't this better than that magic sword? Suyi looked at the golden armor in front of him, immediately recognized it as his, and then stored it in his divine treasury. As for why the magic sword didn't recognize its owner, does it even have the ability to recognize one? Suyi clearly knew his role, just a mascot. He didn't need to do anything else. He also didn't need to personally fight. Although the magic sword was powerful, Suyi didn't dare to claim it as his own, because it could backfire and harm him. The armor of the Immortal King was a good fit for his needs. Let's go, Lilith, Suyi said, leading Lilith out of the Divine Artifact Summoning Hall. He looked at his territory, planning to upgrade it later, after the Void Trial was over. But today's Dimensional Rift couldn't be wasted. It only appeared once a day. Thinking of this, Suyi looked at the Dimensional Gate and made arrangements. The existence of the Dimensional Gate gave him the right to open countless dimensional rifts. It still had its uses, especially since the gate had other special features. Lilith, tell them to follow the original rules and let the new companions level up first, Suyi instructed. Yes, Your Divine Majesty, Lilith replied with a smile. Her black-purple wings spread out, and she instantly vanished in a streak of light beside Suyi. Figures began gathering in the sky. Fallen angels, dragons, holy angels, valkyries, star gods, and genetic forbidden troops, 6 different types of soldiers, assembled together before dispersing to guard their respective areas. The Valkyrie and Star God were recruited only after yesterday's Void Trial. Most of them are around 2 or 3 stars in Iron Grade, while the rest, recruited today, are all 1-star Iron Grade. Resources are not enough, but I can't upgrade right now. Let's wait until everyone reaches 9 stars in Bronze, Suyi thought as he looked at his territory's troops. The Lord's Heart cannot be upgraded. Upgrading it would make the SSS level Abyss score chest unstable. System, start the Void Trial. Difficulty, Abyss. Ding, Void Trial begins. Difficulty, Abyss. You have 30 seconds to prepare. At the border of Suye's territory, red and black light kept flowing. Abyss demon horns emerged from within, all of them 9-star bronze level. So you didn't upgrade the Lord's heart yesterday. Today's void trial has some changes, but mostly in the number of enemies. With a loud roar, the battle began. Suyi was feeling a bit bored, sitting on the grass, opening the live stream module, and watching the most popular stream. He clicked into that stream. The chat messages kept scrolling on the projection. Suyi looked at the stream content, surprised at first, then understanding. Sure enough, trending topics attract everyone. People from that world all jump on it. The crack in the dimension just started, and they're playing so recklessly? Aren't they afraid of dying? Suyi said as he watched the projection. The streamer was live, showing his invasion of the dimension crack. To be precise, he had already started. In the video, this lord's troops were 7th-tier beastmen, specifically lionmen, a high-level unit. No wonder he dared to explore the dimension crack directly. Besides the courage brought by the troop type, there were 3 combat power bonuses, a 5% increase in strength, 5% in speed, and 5% in recovery, 3 bonus effects. So you knew about the others' attribute bonuses because the streamer had marked them clearly. Plus, this lord's talent was also impressive, Beast King talent. It gave a 20% boost to beast-shaped or beast-type troops and increased loyalty of beast-shaped beastmen by 5 points. This was a dominant level talent. With this talent and troop setup, it was indeed quite strong. This lord opened a dimensional rift that was of the black iron level, and it seemed to lead to a desolate world. The ground was covered in yellow sand with no signs of life. Suyi frowned as he watched the live broadcast. Such a dimensional world probably has no resources left. It looked completely barren and lifeless. In theory, this world has no resources, and it's unclear whether this lord's luck is good or bad. At that moment, the lord who was live streaming spoke. Family members, it looks like my luck isn't good. There are probably no resources here. I've wasted a chance, but I'll still look around. Hopefully, I can find something useful. If not, there's nothing I can do. The lord then ordered his soldiers to search the endless yellow sands for resources in this dimension. But hopes were slim, and the lord didn't have high expectations. Suyi watched the live feed while eating a spirit fruit. As he was passing time, something unusual appeared on the screen. A strange creature suddenly jumped out from beneath the sand and grabbed a lion man. Its fierce mouth pierced through the lion man's body, and bright red blood spilled onto the ground. Enemy attack. The scene became chaotic. Terrifying creatures leapt out of the sand, and a buzzing sound filled the sky. Several large creatures, about the size of fighter jets, swooped down from above and attacked the lion man army. Suyi looked at the scene. The strange creatures that jumped out of the sand were about the size of calves, covered in armor that looked like yellow sand, with fierce mouths. They had bone spines at their joints and large, cruel-looking compound eyes. The creatures attacking from the sky wore green armor and also had large compound eyes. Their front limbs were like sickle blades, shining with a cold steel gleam. Suyi watched the broadcast and thought, this is gone now. Any lord who had some schooling would recognize what these creatures were. Or rather, among all the enemies a lord would least want to encounter in this world, these would be in the top 10, no particular order. The insect race. Or, more precisely, the plunderer tribe. The insect race is their enemy. The predators are also their enemies, and they are one of the natural disasters. No one wants to face these creatures, as they represent destruction, death, and plunder. Their numbers are endless, even in a dark iron-level dimension. However, the insect race within this dimension cannot be fought by a dark iron-level lord. The insect race in this dimension is mostly forgotten, but their numbers are still too great for a dark iron-level lord to handle. Suyi looked at the comments, and sure enough, the tone of the messages had changed. We're doomed. The host is definitely going to die. There's no way out. So, don't try to get attention. You'll just die faster. That's not necessarily true. Anyone who has gone to school knows that once a dimensional rift opens, it doesn't just close on command. The rift stays open for 12 hours, meaning whether you're invading or being invaded, you have to hold on for 12 hours. Can the host survive 12 hours? He has over 10,000 lion soldiers, but the outcome is already decided. If it were other monsters, maybe, but it's the insect race. It's just bad luck. Opening a dimensional rift is risky. Be careful, brothers. This is a lesson learned the hard way. 12 hours is too long. Let's give up. Suyi watched the live comments, and no one believed the host